Hello, everyone. This is Southern Belle Whisper. I hope you guys are doing well tonight. I've been reading this book for some comfort the last few days, and there is some very heartwarming stories in here. So I would like to share a few with you guys. There is nothing that I love more than book trigger videos. Everybody that's been supporting me and sending your kind words and your sweet support, I'm doing okay. I'm probably going to be death in my right ear. I was supposed to go to the doctor on December 4th. But it's like been continuously ringing, and I haven't been to the ENT. And my ears have been like this since August. Yeah. Don't even ask. But anyways, I'm doing okay. I'm getting through. I'm getting by. I did make a vlog channel and a TikTok to go along with that vlog channel because I have a lot of feelings I have to get out, and I thought I would help somebody down the road. So I want to tag once they said they like need verification or something to make sure it's not a fake channel. So I will be tagging an ASMR artist in a community post soon, and maybe they can shout out the name in one of their videos. But other than that, I'm not going to say what the vlogs channel, what the channel name is, because this is just mine. This is something that is just mine on this vlog channel. So, anyways, so let's get into the little stories here. I love chicken stories. I've always loved it. Such heartwarming, sweet stories. Oh, share with us. I doubt they would like my story very much. My story is like for like E-News or something. That's good to know though. Okay, on love. Oh, Mama's last laugh. Okay, let's get the book over a little bit. Consumed by my loss, I didn't notice the hardness of the pew where I sat. I was at the funeral of my dearest friend, my mother. She finally had lost her long battle with cancer. The hurt was so intense, I found it hard to breathe at times. Always supportive, Mother clapped loudest at my school plays, held a box of tissues while listening to my first heartbreak, comforted me when my father died, encouraged me in college, and prayed for me my entire life. When mother's illness was diagnosed, my sister had a new baby, and my brother had recently married his childhood sweetheart. So it fell to me, the 27-year-old middle child without entanglements, to take care of her. I counted it as an honor. What now, Lord? I asked, sitting in the church, my life stretched out before me as an empty abyss. My brother sat stoically with his face toward the cross while clutching his wife's hand. My sister sat slumped against her husband's shoulder, his arms around her as she cradled their child. Also deeply grieving, they didn't seem to notice that I sat alone. My place had been with our mother, preparing her meals, helping her walk, taking her to the doctor, seeing to her medication, reading the Bible together. Now she was with the Lord. My work was finished, and I was alone. I heard a door open and slam shut at at the back of the church. Quick footsteps hurried along the carpeted floor. An exasperated young man looked around briefly and then sat next to me. He folded his hands and placed them up on his lap. His eyes were brimming with tears. He began to sniffle. "I'm sorry I'm late," he explained, though no explanation was necessary. After several eulogies, he leaned over and commented, "Why do they keep calling Mary by the name of Margaret?" "Because Margaret was her name, never Mary. No one called her Mary," I whispered. "I wonder why this person couldn't have sat on the other side of the church." He kept interrupting my grieving with his tears and fidgeting. Who was this stranger, anyway? "No, that isn't correct," he insisted, as several people glanced over at us, whispering, "Her name is Mary Peters." That isn't whose funeral this is. Isn't this the Lutheran church?" "No, the Lutheran church is across the street." "Oh, I believe you're at the wrong funeral, sir." The solemn nature of the occasion mixed with the realization of the man's mistake bubbled up inside me and erupted as laughter. I cut my hands over my face, hoping the noise would be interrupted as sobs. The creaking pew gave me away. Sharp looks from other mourners only made the situation seem more hilarious. I peeked at the bewildered, misguided man seated beside me. He was laughing too as he glanced around. Decided it was too late for an uneventful exit. I imagined Mother laughing. At the final amen, we darted out a door and into the parking lot. "I do believe we'll be the talk of the town," he smiled. He said his name was Rick, and since he had missed his aunt's funeral, he asked me to join him for a cup of coffee. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm kind of leaning forward here. I hope you guys don't mind. That's not too bothersome. But it was hurting my back. If you guys don't know, I have scoliosis on the spine. Oh, right, my foot for the weirdos. That's better. Okay. "I do believe we'll be the talk of the town," he smiled. He said his name was Rick, and since he had missed his aunt's funeral, he asked me to join him for a cup of coffee. That afternoon began a lifelong journey for me with this man who attended the wrong funeral but was in the right place. A year after our meeting, we were married at a country church where he was the assistant pastor. This time we both arrived at the same church, right on time. In my time of sorrow, God gave me laughter. In place of loneliness, God gave me love. This past June, we celebrated our 22nd wedding anniversary. Whenever anyone asks us how we met, Rick tells them her mother and my Aunt Mary introduced us, and it's truly a match made in heaven. Okay, some of these are really cheesy. Sorry. They are. Okay, so this one looks interesting. Page 40. My niece loves mermaids, so let's see what page 40 has. Divine intervention. Okay, a miracle of mermaids. Rhonda Gill froze as she heard her 4-year-old daughter, Desiree, sobbing quietly in the family room that morning in October 1993. Rhonda tiptoed through the doorway. The tiny, dark-haired child was hugging a photograph of her father who had died 9 months earlier. Rhonda, 24, watched as Desiree gently ran her fingers around her father's face. "Daddy," she said softly, "why won't you come back?" The petite brunette university student felt a surge of despair. It had been hard enough coping with her husband Ken's death, but her daughter's grief was more than she could bear. "If only I could tear the pain out of her," Rhonda thought. Ken Gill and Rhonda Hill had met when Rhonda was 18 and had married after a whirlwind courtship. Their daughter Desiree was born on January 9th, 1989. Although a muscular 190 centimeters tall, Ken was a gentle man who everyone loved. His big passion was Desiree. "She's the real daddy's girl," Rhonda would often say, as Ken's eyes twinkled with pride. Father and daughter went everywhere together, hiking, dune buggy riding, and fishing for bass and salmon. Instead of adjusting to her father's death gradually, Desiree had to refuse to accept it. "Daddy will be home soon," she would tell her mother. "He's at work." When playing with her toy telephone, she pretended she was chatting with him. "I miss you, Daddy," she'd say. "When will you come back?" Immediately after Ken's death, Rhonda moved from her flat to her mother's home nearby. 7 weeks after the funeral, Desiree was still inconsolable. "I just don't know what to do," Rhonda told her mother, Trish Moore, a 47-year-old medical assistant. One evening, the three of them sat outside, gazing at the stars. "See that one, Desiree?" Her grandmother pointed at a bright speck near the horizon. "That's your daddy shining down from heaven." Several nights later, Rhonda woke to find Desiree on the doorstep in her pajamas, weeping as she looked for her daddy's star. Twice they took her to see a child psychiatrist, but nothing seemed to help. As a last resort, Trish took Desiree to Ken's grave, hoping that would help her come to terms with his death. The child laid her head against his gravestone and said, "Maybe if I listened hard enough, I could hear Daddy talk to me." Then one evening, as Rhonda tucked her child in, Desiree announced, "I want to die, Mommy, so I can be with Daddy." "God help me," Rhonda prayed. "What more can I possibly do?" November 8th, 1993 would have been Ken's 29th birthday. "How will I send him a card?" Desiree asked her grandmother. "How about if we tie a letter to a balloon," Trish said, "and send it up to heaven?" Desiree's eyes immediately lit up. On their way to the cemetery, the back seat of the car full of flowers for their planned gravesite visit, the three stopped at a shop. "Help Mom pick out a balloon," Trish instructed. At a rack where dozens of helium-filled silver balloons popped, Desiree made an instant decision. That one. "Happy Birthday" was emblazoned around a drawing of the Little Mermaid from the Disney film. Desiree and her father had often watched the video together. I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional. The child's eyes shone as they arranged flowers on Ken's grave. It was a beautiful day, with a slight breeze rippling the eucalyptus trees. Then Desiree dictated a letter to her dad. "Tell him happy birthday. I love you and miss you," she rattled off. "I hope you get this and can write me on my birthday in January." Trish wrote the message and their address on a small piece of paper, then wrapped it in plastic and tied it to the end of the balloon string. Finally, Desiree released the balloon. For almost an hour, they watched the shining spot of silver grow ever smaller. "Okay," Trish said at last. "Time to go home." Rhonda and Trish were beginning to walk slowly from the grave when they heard Desiree shout excitedly, "Did you see that? I saw Daddy reach down and take it." The balloon, visible just moments earlier, had disappeared. "Now Dad's going to write me back," Desiree said as she walked past them towards the car. On a cold, rainy morning on Prince Edward Island in eastern Canada, 32-year-old Wade McKinnon pulled on his waterproof duck hunting gear. McKinnon, a forest ranger, lived with his wife and 3 children in the rural community of Mermaid. But instead of driving to the Story, where he usually hunted, he suddenly decided to go to Mermaid Lake, 3 kilometers away. Leaving his sports utility vehicle, he hiked past dripping spruce and pine and soon entered a cranberry bog surrounding the 9-hectare lake. In the bushes on the shoreline, something fluttered and caught his eye. Curious, he approached to find a silver balloon snagged in the branches of the thigh bush. Printed on one side was a picture of a mermaid. When he untangled the string, he found a soggy piece of paper at the end of it, wrapped in plastic. At home, McKinnon carefully removed the wet note and let it dry. When his wife Donna came home, he showed her the balloon and note. Intrigued, she read, "November 8th, 1993. Happy birthday, Daddy." It finished with the address in Live Oak, California. "It's only November 12th, Wade explained. This balloon traveled nearly 5,000 kilometers in 4 days. And look," said Donna, turning the balloon over. "This is a Little Mermaid balloon, and it landed at Mermaid Lake." "We have to write to Desiree," Wade said. "Maybe we were chosen to help this little girl." But you could see that his wife didn't feel the same way. With tears in her eyes, Donna stepped away from the balloon. "Such a young girl having to deal with death. It's awful," she said. Wade let the matter rest. He placed the note in a drawer and tied the balloon, still buoyant, to the railing of the balcony overlooking the living room. But the sight of the balloon made Donna uncomfortable. A few days later, she stuffed it into a cupboard. As the weeks went by, however, Donna found herself thinking more and more about the balloon. It had flown over the Rocky Mountains and the Great Lakes. Just a few more kilometers and it would have landed in the ocean. Instead, it had stopped there in Mermaid. Our 3 children are so lucky, she thought. They have 2 healthy parents. She imagined how their daughter, Haley, almost 2 years old, would feel if Wade were to die. The next morning, Donna said to Wade, "You're right. We had this balloon for a reason. We had to try to help Desiree." In a local bookshop, Donna bought an adaptation of The Little Mermaid. A few days later, just after Christmas, Wade brought home a birthday card that read, "For a dear daughter, loving birthday wishes." Oh man. Donna sat down one morning to write a letter to Desiree. When she finished, she tucked it into the birthday card and wrapped it up with the book. Then on January 3rd, 1994, she mailed the package. Desiree's 5th birthday came and went quietly with a small party on January 9th. Every day since they released the balloon, Desiree had asked Rhonda, "Do you think Daddy has my balloon yet?" After her party, she stopped asking. Late on the afternoon of January 19th, the McKinnon's package arrived. Busy cooking dinner, Trish looked at the unfamiliar return address and assumed it was a birthday gift for her granddaughter from someone in Ken's family. Rhonda and Desiree had moved out, so Trish decided to deliver it to Rhonda the next day. As Trish watched TV that evening, a thought nagged at her. Why would someone send a parcel for Desiree to this address? Tearing the parcel open, she found the card. For a dear daughter, her heart raced. Dear God, she thought, and reached for the telephone. It was after midnight, but she had to call Rhonda. When Trish, eyes red from weeping, pulled into Rhonda's driveway the next morning at 6:45, her daughter and granddaughter were already up. Rhonda and Trish sat Desiree between them on the lounge. Trish said, "Desiree, this is for you," and handed her the parcel. "It's from your daddy." "I know," responded Desiree matter-of-factly. "Here, Grandma, read it to me." "Happy birthday from your daddy," Trish began. "I guess you must be wondering who we are. Well, it all started in November when my husband Wade went duck hunting. Guess what we found? A mermaid balloon. A mermaid balloon that you sent your daddy." Trish paused. A single tear began to trickle down Desiree's cheek. "There are no shops in heaven, so your daddy wants someone to do his shopping for him. I think he picked us because we live in a town called Mermaid." Trish continued reading. "I know your daddy would want you to be happy and not sad. I know he loves you very much and will always be watching over you. Lots of love, the McKinnons." When Trish finished reading, she looked at Desiree. "I knew Daddy would find a way not to forget me," the child said. Wiping the tears from her eyes, Trish put her arm around Desiree and began to read the copy of The Little Mermaid that the McKinnons had sent. The story was different from the one her father had so often read to the child. In that version, the Little Mermaid lives happily ever after with a handsome prince. But in the new one, she dies because a wicked witch has taken her tail. 3 angels carry her away. As Trish finished reading, she worried that the ending would upset her granddaughter. But Desiree put her hands on her cheeks with delight. "She goes to heaven," she cried happily. "That is why Daddy sent me this book, because the mermaid goes to heaven just like him." In mid-February, the McKinnons received a letter from Rhonda. On January 19th, my little girl's dream came true when your parcel arrived. During the next few weeks, the McKinnons and the Gills often telephoned each other. Then in March, Rhonda, Trish, and Desiree flew to Prince Edward Island to meet the McKinnons. As the two families walked through the forest on snowshoes to see the spot beside the lake where Wade had found the balloon, Rhonda and Desiree fell silent. It seemed as though Ken was there with them. Today, whenever Desiree wants to talk about her dad, she still calls the McKinnons. A few minutes on the telephone soothes her as nothing else can. People tell me, what a coincidence that your mermaid balloon landed so far away at a place called Mermaid Lake, says Rhonda. But we know Ken picked the McKinnons as a way to send his love to Desiree. She understands now that her father is with her always. Okay, that one was better. Sorry, I told you guys that my niece loves mermaids. Well, her father, my brother, also passed away last year, and it just made me think of them a lot. So I'm sorry about getting choked up. I'm very emotional right now, as you can understand. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. I will be talking to you soon. Like I said, I have a lot of free time on my hands. I've been trying to get something productive done every single day. I still have to get my driver's license. I still have just so much to do. But I'm going to get it done. But I love you guys. I'll be talking to you soon. And as soon as I can, I'll let you guys know about the vlog channel as well. I love you guys. Talk to you soon.